Man, Camp, we've been walking for an awful long time.
Yeah, I don't know. Where the hell did Gurdon go? We've been looking for him for a while.
I mean, the paper here says, once you pass the tree, you will find me. What does that mean?
We're in the middle of a forest. I don't know how many there's a lot of trees around here.
Have you guys found the tree yet?
What?
Huh?
Have you all passed the tree?
We passed by a lot of trees. Is it near where you are?
Hello, my loved ones. Hello. Welcome to the land.
The land, that's it? This is called the land?
Yes.
What?
Is that not like trademarked?
Yes, it's not been it's crazy. It's not been trademarked. That's why I took it the second I learned that the land was not taken.
Oh.
Hello.
Are you living with the land?
We're living with the land. We're living on top of the land. Welcome to my land.
All right.
Why did you go out here?
Because, Lexi, after last episode, I was very encouraged. I thought of making my own really weird fringe group of people that follow me, even though I say random crap. And I thought, what better people to start with than my own partner and one of my best friends?
Probably anyone else.
Yeah, agreed.
But sorry, go on. I'll let you give your speech.
So y'all aren't going to join?
Well, we don't even know anything. I don't know what you've been doing the last 2 weeks.
I had to rob a gas station because I thought there would be plenty of food on the land, but there wasn't.
Oh.
And so I have a bunch of combos for both of y'all. If y'all want some combos, I've got like 8 bags left.
I mean, I am a little bit hungry. I'd be down.
Okay, but you have to agree to join the land camp. That's the agreement. You got to shake my hand and agree.
Come on out of this forest. This is ridiculousness.
Hello! Welcome to the How Could He Forget podcast, the podcast where your hosts Lexi, Gurdon, and Camp come together every fortnight and discuss a topic you'd forgotten about, never heard of, or is simply too good to forget. On this 36th episode of the podcast, I know we're hitting the triple 12. The triple 12.
We just don't know
episode.
when to stop yapping.
The what? The triple 12? Is that a
3
thing?
times 12 is 36.
No, I know the math fact equals that, but is that like a saying people say?
No,
I don't think the number 36
Okay.
is that important, but I hope it becomes important now, so we start calling it the triple.
It's just like we're all dudes from San Francisco. We're all triple 12 anytime that we ever hit 36. It's the new 6-7 is the triple
true.
12.
Oh,
right.
no.
But I wanted to follow up Alexi's episode on anomalies of the religious sorts because I feel like the topic of this episode could not have fit anywhere else better if I tried. While last episode was about big butts, and I loved the thumbnail that we came up with, this one is of a different variety. And warning for the listeners at home, if you have children around and maybe haven't had the talk, maybe you could skip this episode as there will be talk of adult content as a heads up. But back to the subject at hand. Have either of you heard about the Oneida Silverware Company?
I have not. I imagine they make silverware.
Should I?
They make silverware, yes.
Are they still around?
They are still around to this day, yes.
Oh.
And you may be wondering why I mentioned religion and then immediately asked you about silverware, but we'll get there, I promise. Lexi, actually, because I don't think Camp is going to come down to see my grandmother tonight.
Oh.
Lexi, you might recognize this silverware, by the way. So I'm going to send this on Discord. This is a thing of Oneida silverware.
Oh.
Okay. Oh my gosh, wow, yeah, is that the set that your grandma has?
It's the set that my grandma
Because
has.
the little fork with the little, for those of you who are audio listeners, I mean, it looks like silverware with like the ends of the silverware have like an ornate little design. You've probably seen something like this, but there's one specific, I think it's a fork. Is it a salad fork?
That's a salad fork, yes.
That has like a little ghost face on it, like a little puppy dog looking face, like a little marks.
I was going to say,
that looks really weird. Yes, I do. I literally think that's the set your grandma has.
It is. I'm about 90% sure it's the set.
Oh my gosh, you gotta go do research.
I know. But yeah, I of course I had learned about this topic through the grapevine fine. And then I was like, hold on, let me look up the Oneida Silverware. And that's their most common, like most sought after one is this exact set right here. I believe it's called the Michelangelo from Oneida. But yes, so I had
Were
a
they
feeling
popular?
Yes, Oneida Silverware is very, very, very popular.
I don't know if I could tell the difference between the designs, but I feel like I've seen a lot of silverware like this where it's very kind of ornate
Yeah,
and detailed.
I know a lot of them are that's why I'm like, it's hard to be able to tell because I'm like, there's so many that look like that have like little flourishes and stuff like that on the bottom.
They make a lot of different type of flatware after I did some research. This is just their most popular one. And then again, the fact that my grandma has this set was
That's
also like,
so
whoa.
Yeah, I have seen that one before.
But before I talk about this silverware company, why don't I tell you why I started this episode basically starting a cult? Why don't we?
I was going to say, I want to hear more about the land. Let me know the deets.
Yes, the land.
I'm still hungry.
You don't get any combos. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Camp. But we're going to start this off with a man named John Humphrey Noyes, who was born on September 3rd, 1811 in Brattleboro, Vermont. To his father, you won't believe this and it won't be confusing at all as we go on, John Noyes.
Well, that bodes well.
And John Noyes ended up being a member of the U.S. House of Representatives and was a preacher at one point. And
The son?
No. The father was a
The dad.
representative. Yeah,
This is already
the father.
confusing. Okay.
Exactly. So I will just tell you right now, I don't want to have to say John Humphrey Noyes every single time. So we're not going to really. I'll
Or
finish.
you could just be like son or dad.
Yeah, okay, so I'll do that for right now. But thank you to EBSCO for the sources on this one. They had a very large biography thing.
Oh, EBSCO.
EBSCO, yes, but I just wanted to put it out for stuff on John Humphrey Noyes and John Noyes as well. But John Humphrey Noyes was born on the day that his father was elected to the state legislature.
The son.
So, yes, the son was born to
Okay.
the father the day that the father was elected to the state legislature.
Well, that's a good day for him.
And then it's a great day. And then eventually the father then, like I said, went on to become the member of the U.S. House of Representatives on the national scale. And because, for whatever reason, this story is connected to so many rabbit trails, his mom was named Polly Noyes, who just so happened to be Rutherford B. Hayes's aunt. So...
Okay.
This goes so deep.
And
Wasn't he a president?
And yes, he was the 19th president of the U.S.
Okay. All right.
So it's just so crazy. But John Noyes, the son, didn't have much of an interesting childhood, but his interesting stuff in his life started when he went to Dartmouth. As you would be, being the son of a U.S. representative and all that, you'd probably go into some prestigious colleges and universities and stuff like that. And he was going there preparing to study law and had been studying law in the offices of his brother-in-law when a revival came through in 1831, part of the Second Great Awakening. And Lexi, because you have a degree in some of this stuff, could you give the quickest rundown about the Second Great Awakening and kind of what a revival was for us, please?
Yeah, I had to look this up because I wasn't as informed on this, but basically the Second Great Awakening was a revival of Protestant religions in the U.S., and it was specifically among Presbyterians, Methodists, and Baptists. So it was very much like getting people to all come together and engage in, they even said social activism, according to the Wikipedia, which I thought was really interesting. And they were actually big with like abolitionism and women's rights, which is not something that I would associate with a lot of these groups today.
Yes.
No shade, sorry. Other than Methodists, I have met some Methodist sects that are actually pretty progressive. But then again, there's also ones that are not. But so the Second Great Awakening was kind of like they would just pop up these tents or these like meetings and people would be like, hey, what's going on? And there was a lot of like people preaching and just getting together and being like, you know, this is about God. And so, yeah, that's basically all you need to know about that for the sake of this
Thank you very much,
podcast,
Lexi.
I think.
Next time I am calling on you, Camp, so you better be prepared.
Prepared for what? What do I know?
It'll be whatever I can think of. If it's going to be the Third Great Awakening, I'm calling on you, Camp, and you better
Okay,
know.
Ben,
off
I'm
the
gonna
top
have
of
to.
the
I
dome.
will on the fly. I'll do some hot reading. I'll just like look stuff up as I'm talking, and then I'll try
I'm going to
and
hear a
keep
bunch of
emotion.
typing so quickly.
You're just gonna hear. Hold on. You're just gonna. You didn't hear that over Discord, but you will hear it in the podcast.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, great. But after going to this revival, John Noyes the son was so moved by this revival that he decided to drop law altogether, and he decided to instead go to the Andover Theological Seminary, where he studied biblical exegesis. And yes,
Exogenesis?
nope, exegesis apparently.
Exegesis.
Yep, Exegesis.
Gesis.
But I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did have to look
That's
this up.
weird.
If you can
Okay.
believe it. But biblical exegesis is trying to uncover what the true meaning of the Bible through critical interpretation and explanation is. So,
Oh, interesting. Okay. I feel like we didn't need a word for that.
no, but I had to look it up and go,
You could
what on
just
earth is...
biblical scholar.
Yeah, it's like almost the same amount of syllables. Jeez.
But so I literally had to look that up for nothing. So y'all had to worry about the word exegesis. And while at this at the Andover Theological Seminary, he joined a society at the college called the Brethren, which was sort of like a criticism group, which is very odd. But the group would gather together and examine each other's faith and mission, and would just criticize each other in an open forum. And so they'd be like, all right, Dave, you come sit in the middle. And then they'd be like, Dave, you suck. Like, you're really bad at Bible. Like, it's basically
It just sounds like a
what they
debate
would
club,
do.
but even more toxic.
Yes, exactly.
So they just called themselves the Brethren because it was a bunch of guys getting together to talk. This has nothing to do with the Church of the Brethren, right? That's a different
No,
thing.
this was its own society at the Andover Theological Seminary. But even though John Noyes the son loved Andover, he wanted to study doctrinal studies, so he transferred to the Yale Divinity School in 1832.
Oh my gosh.
And for those that don't know, like myself while I was doing research for this, that's basically
huge.
like the biggest Bible college university in...
It's like
at
the
least-
elite. Yeah.
It's the top of the top. I didn't even know about it, but yeah, it's like highly, highly prestigious.
Damn. Okay.
And so while, yes, John Noyes has some crazy ideas, he was a real homie for this while he was going to the Yale Divinity School. He began to do what EBSCO calls, quote, objective pastoral work among the blacks of New Haven. And he would eventually help found the New Haven Anti-Slavery Society.
Okay.
And so,
Okay. So he wasn't all shit.
no, he was very much ahead of the
Okay.
times and was very much in support of, again, equal rights for people of all races, and as we'll come to find out, even equal rights among men and women as well. So
Wow.
there are a bunch of negative parts about this man, as we will get to, trust me, but there
Of
are
course.
a lot of actually like, oh my gosh, this was extremely progressive for an 1832. So yes.
Especially within religious circles. That's really interesting.
Exactly. Like you said, apparently some of the revivals of the Second Great Awakening were very open to, again, people of all walks of life and all races and creeds and stuff like that as well. So again, I think it was just this very odd flash in the pan that was very unique of the time.
Yeah.
But in the summer of 1833, after going to the Yale Divinity School, during summer, John Noyes began to examine the New Testament like crazy. And he came across a very specific passage in the Bible, in the New Testament specifically, that was John 21:22. All right, Camp, what
That's
is John?
him.
All right, what's John 21:22, Camp,
John
from the
21,
King
22.
James Version?
It was the thing in the Bible where Jesus was saying to Peter, if I would like John to remain alive until I return, what is that to you? You gotta follow me, bitch. That's exactly
gonna
what it is. I'm
say-
reading it right now. That's it verbatim.
It's the origin of 21.
No.
Obligatory, no offense
Sadly
intended.
not.
We're just being idiots.
Yes, we are very much idiots. But because this was 1830s, this did not include the version that said bitch. The King James
Wench.
version said, sorry, yes. It said, quote, if I will that he, as in John, tarry till I come, what that to thee, end quote. So again,
Ibuprofen?
so Camp, you were very close. You were very close
Oh.
with that one with the bitch in there. So from that one passage of the Bible, John Noyes immediately comes to the conclusion that Christ's second coming had already happened.
Okay, but what does that biblical passage mean in like a different translation? What'd you say it was? John what?
John 21:22. Camp has it up. I could hear that he was clicking like crazy.
Yeah, I do.
Because I hate King James Bible. I don't care if I offend anybody with that. I hate that. Okay. In plain language, in language I can understand from the New International Version, it is Jesus answered, if I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you? You must follow me. Yeah, so Camp basically had it other than
The bitch.
wench.
Wench, sorry, yeah.
Exactly. So John Noyes, from this one passage of the Bible, thought that Christ's second coming had to have come before biblical John died. And so...
Oh, because the verse says something about keeping John alive until Jesus can come back?
Yes, exactly.
This is logic? Okay.
That's the exact logic, is straight up that, well, if I want him to live until I come back, what does that mean to you, basically? And so,
but it's like, oh, well, then he must have come back because John eventually died, so...
Yeah.
Oh.
And so John Noyes is like, oh, Jesus already came back.
That is so confusing. The guy that we're talking about, that's
Is
the
John.
preacher, is John, and we're also talking about the book of John, who is a person named John.
This is not confusing at all, Lexi. It's
Totally
not
not.
confusing at all. And so John Noyes, I'll say the Noyes for you, read the New Testament through 10 times and tried to scan for any proof or for anything that would disprove his theory. And when he didn't do that, he goes, all right, Jesus came back in 70 AD after Jerusalem was destroyed by the Romans. That was the exact day that Jesus came back.
Okay.
And so, what does that mean? Because I guess Jesus has already come back, so we're all good. And what does that have to do with silverware?
Right. I
wrote it
forgot.
down.
That's what
Also-
we're talking about this episode.
Also, I have a question. So he was this like biblical scholar, and he says, oh, okay, well, Jesus has already come back, so that means that all the events of Revelation have already taken place?
Yes, exactly.
According to this guy? Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
That the entire everything of the end times, that heaven is on earth now, and that humans are actually living in heaven on earth right now, Lexi. That is exactly what John Noyes believes.
Oh.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but all right.
And so John
Okay.
Noyes began to preach that exact gospel, that Jesus has already come back.
Okay, I have a question though. So he was like pro-abolition, right? And,
Yes.
like very progressive on that front. Why do you think if we were living on perfect Earth, there would still be slavery?
Well, that's why he was fighting against slavery, because he's like, all right, I got to do the holy,
and like
the
good
holy
on
fight.
him for that. I guess he gets like half a point for saying slavery is wrong and bad. But I don't know how I don't know how that could be your theology then. If you're like, oh, well, we're on perfect Earth now. Oh, so God just left people to do slavery?
Lexi, here, his exact ideology was that if anyone accepted Jesus into their hearts and tried to live sin-free, they would be working towards, quote, perfect holiness.
Yeah, but the weird part about it is, and correct me if I'm wrong, being somebody who was raised in churches where they thought Revelation was literal, the whole idea is that the perfect earth is that all of the sinners and the bad people and even Satan are cast into the lake of fire, and evil no longer exists, like bad things no longer exist, and new earth is like literally perfect. So why is there slavery?
Hey, Lexi.
This dude is already wrong. That's all I'm trying to say.
Hey, Lexi, if you want even more help with that, the next line of my outline just says John Noyes declared himself free of sin on February 20th, 1834.
Wow.
And was immediately expelled from the seminary, convicted of heresy, and his license to preach was revoked. So
Okay,
So-
the weird part about that is though, because I'm gonna call out the seminary though, is that if he had said, well, I believe that if you believe in Jesus and you accept him as your Lord and Savior, then you're gonna go to heaven and like you are free from sin.
Mm-hmm.
But then they called him a heretic for that.
Yeah, he's a heretic.
And it's like, what?
Because he's preaching that all you have to do is live perfect holiness, and that Jesus came back, and they're like, "Nuh-uh, Jesus didn't come back."
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so they were mad at him for no, Jesus hasn't been back yet, you fool. And he's like,
Jesus hasn't come back,
and they're
idiot.
like,
And then he's like, yeah, he
"Nuh-uh."
has.
They're like, nuh-uh, get out. Okay, all right.
Yes. So again,
All
he
right.
was expelled, convicted
This
of
is
heresy, and his
buffoonery.
license to preach was revoked. So,
Beautiful.
but that didn't stop John Noyes, if you can believe it, because the podcast ain't over, Lexi. John began to travel around New England and New York preaching this idea of, quote, perfectionism to the masses.
So what was his reasoning as to why he's free of sin? Is it because he thinks we're living on perfect earth?
Because we're living on perfect earth, and as long as you are trying to live a sin-free life, that you can technically work towards a perfect holiness.
Oh, so as long as you're just trying to be sin-free, you're just sin-free.
Yes. Because as long as
that's
you are
a little fast and loose. All right.
Lexi, this is totally not fast and loose as we're getting into the actual meat and potatoes of what's about to go very wrong.
Goodness graciousness.
But this perfectionism gospel got so popular that one of his followers began printing a monthly religious paper called the, quote, Perfectionist for 2 years. Before John ended up settling down in Putney, Vermont, and started his own Bible school, where he converted much of the town, including his own family and his now wife, Harriet Holton, to his new teachings, Lexi. So he then was like, all right, I'm starting my own Bible school, and everybody's just got to be perfect, and it's going to be perfect.
All right.
Why do you have to be perfect on perfect earth? You're already God.
Because
God
you're not
you
perfect, though. Because you're not perfect. You've got to work
not
towards
perfect enough.
perfectionism.
I don't even believe in this this doctrine, like John's or the thing about like post revelation perfect earth. But like that just does not make sense with the theology of if God is making a perfect earth and has cast all the sinners away, nothing you can do can make you perfect. God has perfected you and then put you back on earth.
Yes. So you got to keep working towards that perfection, Lexi.
Why?
You got to get all the achievements for life. That's what you got to
get
do.
all the double S's and
you
Dance
got to be an
Dance
achievement
Revolution.
hunter. You got to get that 100 gamer score.
The original achievement hunter.
Oh my God.
But John and his wife Harriet gave birth to 5 children, sadly 4 of which were stillborn.
Oh, man.
L.
Yes, this was a very rough time. L.
I'm sorry, that's
I'm
fucked
so
up.
sorry.
Yeah, the L is for loss. They lost their children.
Yeah,
they did.
No, that's true.
But if you can believe it, having 4 stillborn children really got to John, who began to study sexual intercourse, as we'll come to find out, which really changed the trajectory of this story, Cam, and Lexi as well.
I am still waiting for the silverware to come back. I am still... I'm just waiting for the
all
bomb
about
to drop. I'm just waiting.
You know, in if this was the first turn of like him kind of doing something like pivoting, that makes a little bit more sense, because if you've had 4 stillborn children, that's hard on anybody, and that's sad. All jokes aside, that part's not a joke.
It's very sad.
So I don't blame him for being like, well, what are we doing wrong, or what can we do to help actually have, a child survive birth. But that's just really wild, his trajectory so far. So I just wanted to make that distinction of, I'm not saying anything about the tragedy of losing your children, but I am like, where is this guy going?
To go from lawyer to hardcore preacher to then studying sexual intercourse, yes, that is quite a...
Yeah, I was going to say, it does make sense the way Lexi put it. And I obviously, losing a child is not funny at all. But just the way that it was like, oh, dang, my child was stillborn. That sucks. I'm going to learn how to have sex better. Like,
oh my God.
I was just like, what?
Like, buddy, I don't think that's it. I don't think that's how that works.
I don't think
so
that's
good.
the problem. I don't think...
That's so good. But like I said, John began to grow this community in Putney, which eventually ended up consisting of 31 adults and 14 children. And these were not
like
just
a commune.
Yes, a commune, Lexi. Thank you. You said it before I did.
Oh, okay.
But these weren't just like people off the side of the road. These were very well-off individuals. Like, they had quite a bit of money. And so not only did they start this commune, but they began to pool their collective resources, and they formed a collective, which is what they called it, to not just be openly socialist. They ended up calling it a corporation. Because
I was going to say, it sounds like a socialist commune. So
yes.
Okay.
But again, they didn't want to do that because they didn't want people to be freaked out. At least I know this was pre-Red Scare and all that by quite a bit.
I was going to say, people were super freaked out by socialism even back in like 18.
We'll come to find out about that in just a little bit. Lexi.
Ooh, okay.
But in Putney, in this corporation, collective commune, whatever you want to call it, they published The Perfectionist and other writings by Noyes to help pay for things they needed, and formed what one source says was, quote, the holy nucleus of their community. The nucleus had some benefits, Lexi, such as complex marriage.
Aren't all marriages complex?
Imagine more complex than just your regular old...
Like a marriage institution, as in the word complex, or like challenging?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like an industrial complex, but
For
marriage.
marriage.
Well, Lexi, let me just say it like this. John Noyes found the wife of one of his early converts attractive. And
Okay.
So,
so,
like another guy's wife? He liked another guy's wife?
yeah, he liked another guy's wife, and so he brought his own wife, the husband, and the wife that he found attractive, and was like, hey, simple marriages are boring. You know what we should have? A complex marriage where both of us are both married to both of our wives. And so they did that.
What I'm trying to say, dear sir, is that I've been trying to learn more about intercourse, and I like to practice with your wife.
With your wife. Basically, yes, Cam. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I just wondered if he'd been talking to Joseph Smith, because
No, I
Joseph
think
Smith had a
he
ton
came
of
to this
wives.
conclusion himself because he's like, man, that girl's hot. Like,
As every religion that has had this does, it comes from a man who's like, what if I could sleep with this other person?
That's my goal now.
yes. And so they did this. John Noyes, his wife, and this other coupled into a complex marriage in which both men were married to both women, and began to have sex with each other's new wives, and the wives began to have sex with their new husbands pretty openly. Not like in the field, but like pretty like,
Like
oh, hey.
people were aware that this was going on, this swapping was going on.
Yeah.
Weren't they basically just swinging then?
Basically, but they were
Yeah.
married, at least in their own mind of like, even though we are swinging,
Oh,
we are
okay.
married to each other.
I only swing with
Okay.
people I'm committed to.
Exactly. That's basically it. You're not
I gotta
wrong.
swear on the Bible before I swing.
So true.
But there's a catch. John Noyes taught the members of his community to practice male continence. Camp, do you know
like
what the-
Antarctica?
Not continents. Yes. Not Antarctica, not Australia. Camp, do you have a guess? Lexi went with the continents joke.
Continents. I do. I know. Hold on.
I
Continents.
can hear you typing.
Voluntary control over bladder and bowel movements. Oh, ew.
Yeah, John basically taught the males of his community don't come.
Oh, he's one of those semen retention people. Can I say that on YouTube? I don't even
We
know.
are
I think you
now.
can say the word semen. I think it's fine. I think they'll.
That's the actual correct term for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are
So-
people that practice semen retention, even though why?
I don't really know.
So John Noyes, yes, taught dudes no nutting ever. So you could basically have sex with somebody's wife if you were, as long as you're married to them. But men couldn't finish unless they planned to create kids, and those kids were approved by the community at large.
Some
The
eugenics.
kids
All
were
right.
approved.
The kids had to be approved by the community.
Like, I get the point of like, hey, don't get this woman pregnant if you're not serious about it. Like that part, I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I guess. And then the kids had to be approved by the community. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
so-
not how that works, dude.
Look, I know the whole thing about it taking a village, but I don't feel like that's fair to apply.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I'm with you on that one, Camp.
That was a very good one. But word got around, if you can believe it.
No.
And we'll get into a little bit later about like approval of children and stuff like that. But after all this news kind of got out that, hey, these people are having complex marriages and people are being hedonistic and having intercourse with people who aren't their wives, even though they technically are their
Man,
wives.
we got another person doing hedonism stuff this week.
Yeah.
Man.
Dang, okay.
But some sources say that new converts entered into this complex marriage rather quickly, while others say that it was a bit slower, as in some sources say that like as soon as you joined, as long as you were like fully in, that you were then brought into the complex marriage and were then married to everybody else. But others say that it was a little bit slower. But so it's kind of conflicting.
They can say what they want about like considering being married to these people or whatever, but these were just like, these women were just sex objects, and like, I don't know, maybe they were treated better in like given positions and stuff like that, but like this just screams like sex workers to me without the compensation. Like, how can you be married to 15 women at the same time and be like, oh, I'm married to all of these people?
Yeah, I was going to say, this is starting to sound more and more like a harem than anything else.
Thank you. Yes, that's
What?
the word I was looking for.
Unless the men and women are able to have sex with each other. Then it's just more fun.
Which I don't think they are, because they're still
No, this is a very Christian-
anti-fruit time
Oh.
still, right?
Yeah. So thank you all for getting there, because it's going to go a little crazy from here.
And that's when they bring
like
in the silverware.
Yes, the silverware. But no, word got out that Noyes was doing this as one was having intercourse with people, multiple people. And so Noyes was subsequently arrested on the charges of adultery and fornication.
Yep.
Which I didn't know you could be arrested for that back in the day, but here
back
we are.
then? Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
adultery. Yes, I knew you could have read
Adultery
it.
for sure.
But just under the, is fornication a charge? Like, what does that mean?
It used to be.
Damn, okay.
And also the fact that you cannot be married to more than one person. So they probably could have gotten him on that, where he's like, but I'm married to these women. And they're like, no, you're not. You can be married to one person. That's it. Anything else is fornication.
But yeah, so Noyes was arrested. And shortly after, he jumped bail. And so,
He jumped bail? What does that mean?
I think that means he paid bail, but then just ran away from town, basically.
Oh, okay. So he bailed himself out and was like, bye.
Or again, maybe even members of his flock. It doesn't exactly say, but most sources just say that he jumped bail. And because his flock of perfectionists had continued to grow, one of the members of his perfectionist group had bought a large piece of land in Oneida, New York, where finally the Oneida community was born, where we'll get to the silverware soon enough.
Ooh, okay.
But
So a member of his group bought this place in New York, you said?
yes, a member of his group bought this, and so everybody in the flock that was in Vermont left to New York and Oneida. And eventually, a 93,000 square foot mansion house was built on a 30.
Oh my gosh.
I told you these people were well off.
What?
Oh.
And it was built on a 33-acre piece of land.
Wow.
And became a communal living situation for the followers of John Noyes, because all members of the community lived in that one house.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
I'll go
hey, you know what? If you're
insane.
going to build a mansion, at least house people. So
Well, yeah,
like,
exactly. Fair. If you have a house that big, I
I'm
think you have a
not-
moral obligation to house as many people as you freaking can in
yeah,
there.
I'm not really that angry that they made a giant house. If like, what'd you say, like 30 something people are living in there? or
At the
50 something
time of
people?
this, I believe it was 31 adults and 14 children, but the numbers had slightly grown since then. So,
Okay,
so
yeah, so that's not
that's
bad.
a ton of people.
but the house did not start off that big, the mansion house as it was called. But eventually, after they kept making expansions and bigger, it did grow to that size. But like I said, all members of the community lived in this one house, and they had a very complex set of rules and committees. As somehow in this house, at the peak of their
What do these
membership.
people do for jobs?
Oh, I'm about to tell you, Lex.
Oh, God.
As somehow at the peak of their membership, there were 27 different committees and 48 administrative sections.
Of all
just
these
like,
people living in this house?
yes, that they each had like, oh, we're having a committee for this thing, a committee for children, a committee for repairs, for cleaning.
How do you have 48 administrations in a house with like sub 100 people?
Because eventually, Camp, there were 300 people living in this house.
Oh, wow. Okay, now that sounds like that's above fire code.
250 adults and 50 children were all living in this one mansion house.
God.
Oh, my goodness.
Where everyone, and again, you all asked this just a little bit early, where everyone was expected to do the work that they could and contribute in what ways they could. And everyone was treated so evenly, and Lexi will know why this is so important, but women were allowed, if not encouraged, to wear pants and have short hair in the community. And they would advocate for women's suffrage and free divorce in their free time or when they would go speak to people.
Wow.
So women were treated that evenly, at least again in the 1860s,
That's pretty crazy.
which is crazy. And unlike most communes of the time, which this very much was, as Lexi pointed out earlier, it didn't fall as quickly as you might expect. Because like I said earlier, most of the community was pretty well off and could not just support themselves, but others. And so if you got together a bunch of people who could support others onto this piece of land, then they were able to freely and collectively help each other without running out of money.
Yeah, I guess if you can get set up with like farming and water, it's really all you need. You know,
Yeah, it's
people
like
can
a
get firewood.
self-sustaining economy, basically.
And with 33 acres, you're probably going to have some form of fresh water and, of course, plenty of land to farm and stuff like that.
Yeah, you would hope so.
Yes, but the estimated amount in what was called the communal fund at the time was about $100,000, which is equivalent to roughly $3.5 million today.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
In that communal fund, and so they were not strapped for cash at the time. Not just did they have this, what is the equivalent of millions of dollars today, but an early member of the community also invented what would become known as the Oneida Trap, which was a widely loved and sought after animal trap that they could create and sell from their property to help fund any ventures that were needed. And like,
trapping of wild animals.
Of animals and stuff. And so you can still look it up. Like Oneida traps were like heavily sought after, and like people really love Oneida traps because they were so good. And it just so happened that like some dude on this commune was like, what if I made a better trap? And he did.
That's pretty cool.
Yes. And they saw so much success, in fact, that they then began to expand their industries to include, of course, a farm where they would get most of their food. As most of the congregation or commune was actually entirely vegetarian, and they were on a vegetarian diet.
Interesting.
They had a sawmill, a flour mill, a canning plant, and factories where they eventually they produced chains, suitcases, wool, silk, and their most popular item of all, silverware.
Yo!
They're able to set up factories. That's crazy.
I mean, 33 acres. You could probably shove a couple small factories.
Yeah,
onto
I guess
there.
were they buying materials from people though?
Yeah, I mean that's most industries. So if you had the money to fund from just the traps, then you could go, okay, then let's get into canning, and then for the money from canning, then you go, okay, well let's set up some factories to increase our canning.
Well, that's all like metals and stuff, like chains, traps, silverware.
I also imagine they just have like an entire mine shaft on the 33 acres of land. They just start like hollowing out the underground of the whole
like
thing.
Minecraft,
just right underneath it. From.
They even saw so much success that they were able to build a communal library, a Turkish bath, a theater, and a progressive school all on their land that they had in the Oneida.
What's a Turkish bath?
Camp, what's a Turkish bath?
What's a Turkish bath? I know that. It's when you have a bath, right? When you have a bath, is a traditional centuries-old cleansing ritual originating from the Ottoman Empire, and that's your bathtub.
That's your bathtub.
Islamic hygiene practices. That's its own sentence.
Did I
this
is going to become my new favorite bit.
Is it just like a communal bathhouse?
Essentially, yeah, that's what I'm gathering from actually reading it.
Okay.
Otherwise called a hammam. Hammam? I don't know. I am so sorry. I don't know how to read Arabic.
Yeah. But yeah, so they were really successful is basically what I'm saying, if they were able to build entire library and multiple things like that as well. The businesses were actually so successful, Lexi, when you mentioned this earlier, but I didn't get to my notes yet, that they began to having to hire outsiders to fill roles they couldn't fill themselves in the factories and other things like that, because the work began to just become too much that they were like, hey, we need some more hands at the silverware factory. So they ended up doing that. Because, like I said, in this commune, it was very progressive. Members of the community were expected to work at one of these places, but they could freely rotate to other jobs if they weren't necessarily enjoying or doing a good job. Like if they were
that's cool.
Yeah.
If they were like, oh, hey, I've been working on the farm for a while, and like, oh, this is just like, I'm really not enjoying farming. Like, I think I get more enjoyment out of like, oh, I'll go help run one of the factories. Then they just like, okay, then just go work on one of the factories, basically. So,
oh wow.
It's very odd. Like, it's this very small, like, micro community cosm of like things that are good, but with a very bad part that we are kind of overlooking right now, but we're about to get to.
I was gonna say, where does the bad come in? Because I feel like it's gonna be really bad.
So here's the bad, Lexi. Here's at least one part of the bad. I mentioned earlier, again, there was a lot of setup for John Noyes, but we needed it to get to this point. John Noyes made his own interpretation of the Bible.
Of course he did.
And
The son, right?
Yes, John. We are not talking about the father, and we haven't for the last roughly 35 minutes.
Okay.
But John Noyes made his own interpretation of the Bible, and the Oneida community practiced daily meetings where the learnings that John got from the brethren that I mentioned earlier of mutual criticism were practiced among the population. These criticisms...
Oh, no. So they just criticized each other?
Yes!
Oh, my God.
These criticisms would sometimes last for 30 minutes.
What? They just spent 30 minutes just
Timothy,
yelling?
let me tell you what I think about you. You smell like dirt. Your wife looks like Rumpelstiltskin. Like...
Yes. So they would just pull a chair and get Timothy in the middle and be like, Timothy, you're not Bible enough. You stank. You pull no bitches.
I hate
like
the way that you walk, the way that you
Doc,
talk.
I hate the way that you dress.
Yes. And
Dear
so,
Timmy, I'm sorry that you're in this commune. Sorry.
Yes. But eventually they had to stop having all 300 of their members because, again, they had to do work to do, and they couldn't just do this every single day. The oldest people in the community who would then pull you into a room.
Also, were they criticizing children or just adults?
I didn't hear about that, but we'll get to children shortly.
No.
Oh,
Children were treated very oddly in this group, and I don't want to tell you if that's positive or negative yet. I'll let you have your own interpretations.
Oh, I know it's going to be negative. So,
But this form of mutual criticism, John said, was to help them try to perfect their lives here on Earth by uncovering faulty aspects of one another. And even people were allowed to criticize John Noyes, but because he was just so perfect and so good, his would usually be the shortest criticisms of everybody.
I'm sure
of
it's not because they
course.
were afraid of him or honored him as a god. No, it was totally because he's just so
Lexi.
perfect.
No, but John Noyes, after the mutual criticism groups, would give small sermons and what one source says are anecdotal homilies to the congregation daily as well. So again, just like,
Oh, okay.
hey, go out there and this one time, telling stories and stuff like that.
Yeah, this one time I got kicked by a horse. Don't do that.
Don't get kicked
Good
by
day.
a horse. But while the silverware is probably the most well-known facet that lives to this day, the craziest part of the Oneida community at the time had to be the complex marriage and male continence, if you can believe it. Because according to multiple sources, the act of complex marriages and free love, as some put it, wasn't as free love as you might think. Like, you couldn't just go, I want to go sleep with Deborah. Oh, I want to go sleep with Jim. Like, couldn't do that. Every member that wanted to have a sexual relation with another had to be documented and put into a ledger.
There's a record of the banging.
There's a record
They just
of the
got like an
banging.
Excel spreadsheet of just every sexual encounter.
Do they ring a bell too? Send them to the smush room.
They might send them specifically to a room if a child was to be born. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but they had to get approval, like I said, from a committee if a child was to be born. And specifically, Lexi, I think this is very important for the time especially, it had to be at the behest of the woman and not the man that wanted to have the children.
Ooh.
Okay, that's
Yes.
kind of interesting.
As John Noyes specifically believed this was one of his biggest doctrines, was that women got to choose if and when they were ready to have children. So if they didn't want to have children, they were not forced to. They were
so
not encouraged.
wild.
I was gonna say,
Like,
what went
that's
wrong?
such a progressive take of like,
Like what?
yes, that's how it should be.
Why
But
can't he be the leader?
he is the leader, is he,
He
not?
is. John Noyes is the leader.
Well, no, he is, but I mean,
Yeah.
like now.
Because he's dead as
Oh,
hell.
I don't know. There's bound to be negatives here. This is not going to be happy
Probably.
fun time. You know, I can understand that from a perspective of like rationing resources. Like if they had to worry about, hey, we can't be having too many kids because we don't have enough infrastructure to fund this or to support this or whatever. But I think it's crazy that you have to be written down in the banging ledger if you want to get with somebody. That's crazy.
The banging ledger.
The banging ledger's great. I love the banging ledger.
That's actually what inspired the Skrillex song Bangarang, because they would ring the bell
my
when
God.
you were banging somebody. So
Bang
Yes.
ledger.
the more you know.
You would still have to go before a committee even if the woman wanted to have children, and it would be approved, and you would then be matched with someone based on your spiritual wellness as well as their spiritual wellness.
Oh, so you don't even get to pick the person?
No.
They pick them for you? Oh, well, that kind of sucks.
Never mind.
What if you get like Ugly John?
We will talk about Ugly John later. That's crazy.
I want Hot John.
Yeah. I want Hot Timothy, not Ugly John.
Yeah. But men could, of course, have relations, but the choice of bearing the kids wasn't up to them, which, again, is just still crazy to me. And not just that, but when we were talking about children earlier, I can bring this up now. Women did not have to be the sole caretakers of the children, as, in fact, the community believed in what John Noyes called stirpiculture, spelled STIRPI culture. So stirpiculture.
Oh, I know what that is.
Okay.
I know. Hold on. I know.
Oh my gosh.
I'm typing. Hold on.
No, you know,
yeah, I know all about stirpiculture because it was coined by John from the deliberate selective breeding of humans to improve the race. Oh no!
Oh, God.
It was implemented as a positive eugenics experiment. What?
Okay, so I knew there was a twist. So he's a eugenics fiend.
So in every, again, I'm so glad Camp just pulled that for me. Thank you so much.
Oh no!
This is one of the few times where actually this is not at all ever lumped in with eugenics, because even though like
Interesting.
it's considered, quote, generally positive eugenics of like women were allowed to choose it. It wasn't just everybody was allowed to have children no matter what. Like it's a case of people were allowed to choose and say, I would like to have children again, the women, and say, I would like to have them now, or I would like to rather wait a couple years until I'm more settled or whatever. And so it is one of the few examples that at least I could find after doing research of positive eugenics, as Camp said.
Okay, yeah. So it's not like, so I mean, eugenics is almost kind of a misnomer there, because it's like if they can have kids, like if they're
But it's actually not, because they're choosing the partner based on, what'd you say, spiritual wellness or whatever?
Well, it would be spiritual wellness as well as like, I believe, like healthiness,
Your
I think,
age.
and like age.
Okay.
Because we're going to get into that.
That's still eugenics,
I
though.
know it is,
That's
but
still eugenics.
It's not nearly as bad as like 98% of other eugenics, which is still crazy.
I guess
to
it's
me.
mainly not, it's not rooted in racism, is really the
yeah,
the
at the very
differentiator
least.
here.
Like I don't think they're doing it intentionally
Versus
to be
a lot of
discriminatory.
a lot of other
Exactly.
U.S. eugenics movements are rooted in racism.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this one's not really about that. It's more like, oh, well, hey, yeah, Catherine is, 25 years old. Let's put her with, Reginald, who's 27 years old, and,
Yup.
all that jazz.
But one of the big things about this as well with stirrup culture, or stirpiculture, I don't know what it's called.
It's such a weird word.
It's so weird. But that once children were done breastfeeding, they would then be raised communally in the children's wing of the mansion.
Okay.
Ooh.
Parents would be allowed to come visit the children, but the children's department were in charge of raising the kids.
That's kind of weird.
And so here's the very weird part, Lexi, thank you. If a parent came around a little too often, or might have been, quote, bonding with their children too much, they would enforce a period of separation between the parents and child.
Okay, see, no, that's not cool. That's
Yes.
not cool. Here I
Exactly.
was thinking that, like, oh, yay, they're like, other people are helping raise the children. That's great. Like sharing
Yes.
the load. No, that's...
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
opposite of sharing the load.
You're looking at your baby too much. Band.
That's basically what it was.
Oh my god.
You want to hold your baby once a day? You're weird. Band.
Get out of here, nerd.
Stop being so clean.
So
Oh, God.
wild.
But yeah, and the children's committee, I believe is what it was called, could just decide how long that this needed to go for you to get like, hey, you've been hanging around your kid too much. Get out of here. Because
Why would they
Yeah.
think that's a bad thing, though? That's
because they were trying to raise them as, quote, perfect as possible, where no direct
Oh, I don't like that.
I know, with no direct influence by the parents, but just following the
Community
preachings
standards.
of community standards and perfection and stuff like that.
Well, who the hell decides that the
Oh.
children's department is perfect?
Probably
Yeah.
John Noyes or the committee. I don't
yeah,
know.
handpicked by John himself.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
also because not only was male continence practiced in the process of having children / not having children, masturbation was not allowed.
Well, I couldn't go there.
Oh my goodness.
Such a shame. It sounded
Yes,
interesting.
Camp.
but
because camp
I don't know why would that be outlawed
Lexi,
then if they want to make
masturbation was perceived as shameful and wasteful.
Well, I was
and
gonna
was
say wasteful makes sense if you got like a whole thing about semen retention or whatever.
That's right. He's a semen retention guy. I'm very confused by that though, how progressive in some ways and then just absolute buffoonery in other ways.
Because Lexi, masturbating was compared to shooting your friend with a gun to reload. There's no like why would you spill your seed as
Are
John
you
Noyes?
aiming it at your friend? Are you like what?
No.
God forbid boys do anything, Lexi. Come on.
Yeah, boys can't have
Boys will
hobbies.
be boys.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
But camp, if you can believe it, because you just weren't
There's
allowed
the element of shame.
you weren't allowed any form of release at all. There were plenty of reports of sexual frustration and irritability amongst members of the community.
Just give them cornflakes.
Oh my gosh.
Wait,
oh
what?
my gosh, Lexi.
Just give them
Is
cornflakes.
there a correlation between masturbating and cornflakes?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
there
That's why
is, actually.
cornflakes were created.
It's not a joke.
I'm not even joking. Maybe we'll do that on another podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The
All right.
Kellogg-
I'm gonna look it up then.
We'll sidebar. We'll talk about this later.
Kellogg wanted an anti-masturbation food or like an anti-sexual food, so he made cornflakes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a great topic.
But yeah, so you could kind of believe it, but dudes just weren't allowed to do that. And so there was a little bit of antisocial behavior amongst the community, according to notes. But also, I didn't know how to bring this up very naturally, but the Oneida community had a way for new members, both male and female, to practice their complex marriages so as to not worry about unwanted pregnancies.
Okay.
Young men who had not quite hardened themselves as to not have self-control were mostly allowed to have sex with women who had already had menopause as to practice not finishing.
What? Older women with minors?
No, not minors, Lexi. No. Like, literally, quote, young men of, like, new converts of, like, we'll say, 18 to...
Oh,
not,
okay.
not
Like maybe
like,
in their 20s, but they're a new convert.
Yes.
They might not be that progressive, but at least they're not the P word. I don't know if you can say it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So now, later in the community, there began to be offshoots that were pushing one way for teaching about sexual wellness and sexual things and what age that should be accepted, and that caused a splintering later. But again, that's not this. This was just like, hey, you're 19. You don't get to have intercourse with somebody who's 20 or 18. You get to have sex with Darla, who's
older woman.
65. Like, yeah. So,
oh my goodness.
Jeez, now we know what inspired Harold and Maude.
Oh my
gosh.
Maude, the original Cork Chungus, as I will steal a line from I'll steal that line from Northern Lion for camp.
Listeners are going to have no idea what we're talking about. Harold and Maude is a movie. If you're not sure what it is, look it up. It's mostly good, and then there's like a really weird twist in it that is a little bit jarring. Not scary, by the way, so it's fine.
No. It has slightly creepy undertones, especially in current year. I quite like the movie, but I totally understand why some people will be put off by it. Like 100%.
Yeah, I like the movie other than that one element.
Yeah.
To be honest.
How could you forget
message
Harold
is
and
great.
Maude the next episode?
Why not,
anyway,
honestly?
so for listeners who are like, Quirk Chungus, Harold and Maude, what are we talking about? That's what it is. Inside joke sort of a thing, but it's a movie.
So that was the young men's thing.
Young men.
For the young women, Lexi, you're not going to want to be happy about this one. Young women would only have relations with the men who had the most self-control of their bodies.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so it would mostly be older men.
Oh.
And
okay.
more than likely John Noyes himself.
I'm so shocked.
There it is. Well, of course, because he would have the most self-control because he's
I'll
perfect.
tell you what, yeah, I was he having conversations with Joseph Smith because he, yeah.
No, as we'll come to find out, the Oneida community was so removed from the general, like, thing besides what they sold that when the Civil War broke out, they didn't even go there to try to, like, draft men for the war. Like, that's how far removed it was from everything.
They just thought it was like a factory or something?
Like
probably?
a factory or like a group of, like, again, those crazy people out there. Like, they just didn't even go there to draft people.
Like freaky Amish people?
I don't know if it was freaky
Almost.
Amish or just straight up like, it's like 80 miles that way, and we're in the 1800s.
Oneida's kind of like freaky Amish people, where they just
Lexi,
kind of...
Again, I don't know. From what the note said, it sounds much more that it was just so far removed that they were like, oh, we don't even want to have to go there. Like,
yeah, we're not going to deal with it.
It would take 2 days to go there, and more than likely they're just going to be wackos, so don't even worry about it. So it's a mix of a bunch of
Okay.
But you might wonder how long this group lasted. Well, it lasted until 1881.
Really?
And when did it start?
Technically established in 1848, so it lasted for 40 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so quite a long time. But the end was simultaneously what you expect of a weird commune and weirder.
Oh no.
So like any good group of people following a charismatic leader, Lexi, the charismatic leader began to grow old, and when he couldn't perform his duties, he tried to pass off his leadership to his son, Theodore, in 1875.
Okay.
But Theodore wasn't charismatic at all. And Theodore also wasn't religious either. And so for a community kind of built on a charismatic leader and...
But Theodore was in the community, right?
Yes, but apparently he was much more agnostic, and so people did not like him for that, because this was supposed to be a very Christian, very holy commune. And so when people didn't like Theodore, other members of the community themselves began to try to take control of the community, but failed as John was still alive. These failures, though, in one of the weirdest out-of-nowhere twists, broke away from the Oneida community in New York and moved all the way to California.
I knew it.
Where they created a new community in California.
Scientology.
And convinced the local legislator and government to create a new area for them to live called Orange County.
What?
Oh.
These people just invented Orange County?
I actually wasn't far off.
No!
Because Scientology wasn't created till way later, but yeah, their headquarters is like LA.
They made Orange County, which is so crazy.
I was waiting for you to just be like, they were dudes in San Francisco, but that's so much funnier. The fact that they just made Orange County.
Well, I mean, Orange County is called Orange County because there's a bunch of oranges. So
yes.
Oh my god.
It was nothing but orange groves.
Yeah.
Trees.
Oh, I love that so much.
But anyways, after that crazy plot twist, I was like, what on earth?
Wow.
With less members and the congregation getting older, another schism began to form, involving the older members of the community loving the idea of free love and complex marriage. They were starting to die and get old, while the younger members just wanted to have traditional marriages and just live their lives, like in a traditional, like, I want to be married to my wife type of situation.
Yeah.
Which caused a lot of things to be very uneasy, because again, when their young people are like, let us just get married, and the older people are like, no, free love, like being all weird about it, then it kind of causes this split.
That's right. Normally in these days, you find it's the opposite.
It's the opposite.
Like all the young people are trying to get freaky with it, and all the old people are like, if you look at another woman when you're married, I'll kill you. Like, you know,
I will say, I think it's a little bit of the ebb and flow, though, of like the countercultural push of like, if all of these children in the community were, you know, exposed to this type of lifestyle growing up, it makes a little bit more sense that they would potentially push for more of a fundamentalist or a traditional
It does,
view,
actually,
because it's against what they have known.
Yeah, exactly.
Counterculture type beat.
And so in the period in June of 1879, a member of Noyes's flock let him know that he was about to be arrested.
Oh, joy.
Yes.
For what?
For essay of a minor.
Oh my god.
Yeah, remember what I said earlier about them not being the P word?
Straight to jail.
Yep.
Straight to jail.
And so, you know what John Noyes did?
Oh, no.
He fled to Canada in the middle of the night and never returned to the U.S. ever again.
You know what? So John wasn't about to be arrested, right? It was the other leader guy?
No, this is just John. This was
John was about to be arrested for SA?
Gosh.
Yes. And so the community, now without a leader because he fled in the middle of the night, was very confused and didn't know what to do until John Noyes wrote them a letter that said, y'all should stop doing complex marriage. And so, guess what?
He's like, y'all should stop doing this, and you should actually do what I do because I'm perverted.
No.
Sick.
Luckily, not this time. But it was discontinued. They all immediately stopped. Not immediately, but it was relatively quickly. They all stopped doing complex marriage. About 70 members of the Oneida community ended up normalizing their marital status with literally whomever they were with at the time.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and over the next 2 years, without the leadership of John, the Oneida community began to nosedive until the remaining members of the community realized that the only thing holding all of these people together still was basically a widely successful business with a lot of land and the money to continue like making more and more money.
Yeah.
And so what did they do? They reorganized the commune into a joint stock company and ended up founding
Honestly?
the privately owned Oneida Community Limited. And
Also, honestly, not a bad outcome.
they just became a business.
I was going to say, I love how they went from communism to capitalism, like,
Exactly.
with a
Here's
switch
the thing,
flip. Like,
though.
it's so good. I'm not saying that with, like, a value judgment at all. That's just a really funny sudden switch
so
of economy. Like, that's so good.
The tie between religion and the way you run a business and capitalism is a lot stronger than you think it is.
Yes.
That's all
Yeah.
I will say about that.
But eventually, as the times changed, sadly, the animal trap and silk businesses were sold, and the canning company was discontinued as it wasn't profitable. And yet, the silverware company is still around to this day. You can actually buy Oneida silverware right now on Amazon. At this exact moment, I
That's
I'm
we get to
assuming
our
somebody else
sponsored
bought it,
segment
though.
of the
yeah, thank
No, I'm
you.
just-
The longest sponsor segment. But what was that,
I'm
Lexi?
assuming
Sorry.
somebody else bought the company, though.
Nope, they still own their company right now. They have.
Oh, wow.
They have-
Descendants of the originals.
I don't know how long that their descendants ran the company, but it was for quite a while, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow,
But they
yeah.
did move their manufacturing overseas, but they still have offices here in the U.S. So that is
Interesting.
At least what happened to the Oneida Silverware Company. Again, you can just buy it on Amazon, like the ones that my grandma has. You can just buy those right now if you wanted to, which is crazy. But according to the book Oneida, written by Ellen Wayland Smith, the descendants of John Noyes ended up burning the group's records in 1947 as they were embarrassed by them and the legacy that John Humphrey Noyes had left behind.
Wow.
Damn,
So
yeah.
we still have a lot of this stuff through, again, history, and I believe the Oneida Mansion is now a museum that literally just talks about the entire Oneida community. But yeah, all the direct records and all that stuff were just entirely destroyed because they were so ashamed by it all.
Interesting.
And finally, one last note. I'll try to get through this part quickly. There is another weird connection with the Oneida community, and that is Charles J. Guiteau. Do either of you know who that is?
No, and I
That's a
also don't
French
believe that's
dude,
how it's
so no.
pronounced. I refuse. John Gay.
Charles J. Guiteau. Guiteau. So I'm
E-A-U.
assuming that's,
Guito. I don't know.
yeah.
But
It
no, I
sounds
have not
French
heard.
and I hate it.
But Charles, I'll just say that from now on, was a failed lawyer who very clearly suffered from mental illness. Not for being part of the Oneida community, but because of what he's most famous for. Charles's father had at some point joined the Oneida community and began reaching out to his son to join him on the commune. To which, after failing to get into the University of Michigan, Charles ended up doing that. He came and joined the Oneida community. And he began to worship John Noyes and everything that he did, calling him like a perfect man. And something that I didn't think about, but the Oneida community was around and flourishing during that Civil War I mentioned earlier. So Charles was not drafted into the Civil War. He was able to just hide out on the Oneida community land and work a job and not actually have to go fight during the Civil War. But after the Civil War, he kept getting turned down by women to the point that they created the nickname Charles Get Out.
Oh my goodness. Is that his legacy?
Down.
No, but it's so funny.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But he eventually left and attempted to sue the community, which failed, and his own dad wrote a letter basically disowning him for trying to sue the community, the only people that accepted him. So quite a failure there. And while I could sit here and tell you a lot more about Charles, about how he survived the Great Chicago Fire and the collision of the SS Stonington and SS Narragansett, which apparently was a very bad shipwreck. He survived that also. He mostly was a mentally unwell man who jumped from place to place and drifted where he could, until his attention turned to politics. Whenever
Did he try to assassinate somebody?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Charles.
Was he the one that assassinated the one of the only other presidents that's been assassinated?
Yes, he did. You're so close.
Oh my gosh.
You're so close.
Okay, I'm trying to think because a lot of presidents have had assassination attempts. Let's see, this was what this would have been like late 1800s.
Yes.
Ooh, see, pre-1900, I am not good with presidents.
No, they're very hard to keep straight.
Yes.
Do you want me to just tell you, or we'll get there?
It wasn't Garfield, a later Garfield, right?
He assassinated President Garfield, yes.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow. Okay. That's crazy poll. Crazy
I
poll.
can't
Yes,
believe
it
he
is.
assassinated Garfield. Who's going to eat
No,
my lasagna?
the cat.
That's why he
now?
hates Mondays.
No.
I'm just kidding.
But Charles began to write speeches and attempted to help whomever was winning. So whoever was the front runner, he would just write speeches encouraging them. And so for a while he was like, Grant's gonna win. And then when Grant started losing, he literally just changed the title to Garfield in one of his
Oh my goodness.
and replaced every use of Grant with Garfield.
How generic of a script do you have to write to just replace the name of a
Wasn't-
dude and it's fine? Like, how-
Was Grant Ulysses S. Grant of
Yes.
Civil War?
Yes.
Yeah, I love how if he would write in this speech and yes, and as he was fighting in the South, Garfield. Like what?
But there was another person that was apparently running and was doing something, and then when they died or dropped out, then he just literally changed that person's name also. So he was just literally whoever was winning, a grifter basically.
And that's what we call a fair weather fan.
Yes. But when Garfield won the presidency, Charles believed that his speeches were imperative and the whole reason that Garfield won the presidency.
Oh no.
And in doing so, Charles believed that he deserved to be rewarded with a job as the counselor to Vienna. And then when he went, oh, I don't want to be the counselor to Vienna. I like Paris better. I deserve to be the counselor to Paris. But again, he didn't do anything. And so he kept trying to talk to members of Garfield's administration. And one of them eventually told him get out of here. I never want to see you again. And that was the tipping point. And so eventually just Charles Guiteau guy ended up borrowing $15 from a family friend, buying a revolver with ivory grips. And he specifically wanted it with ivory grips because, quote, it would look better in a museum, and shooting President Garfield and killing the 19th president of the United States. And because this person's life is a comedy of errors, the gun was originally more than $15 with the ivory grips, but the gun shop owner lowered the price so he could get the one with the ivory grips compared to the wooden grips. And after the assassination...
Why? Just because the owner felt nice?
Yeah, the owner was just being nice, but ended up selling...
Oh my goodness.
gun
Ended
who
up
killed
selling
the
the
president.
murder weapon for the assassination.
And
my
after the
goodness.
assassination, the gun was then sent to the Smithsonian, but was then just lost. They just lost the gun.
What?
Garfield.
No.
Oh, yes.
It didn't look good in a museum.
So it's just lost forever?
It might be somewhere in the Smithsonian, or it might have been stolen. Nobody knows where the hell
It's
the
just
gun
in the
is.
stock room or whatever.
And I have to say that I don't condone assassinations of people, but it is a little, in a strange way or twist of events, it is a little refreshing to hear that the assassination of a president was because one dude was mad he couldn't get the position that he wanted because he was suffering from who the hell knows, versus it being the JFK situation where you're okay, this was not just some like disgruntled guy.
Yeah.
You know, without going down the
this
conspiracy
is like
trail.
the least calculated assassination.
Yeah,
of
he
a
was
president.
mad because he's like, I should be more important.
Hey, I want a job being the counselor of Vienna. Wait, no, Paris. Like literally that. But
It's just wild.
For
But
the-
sad that happened.
absolutely.
Ultimately.
For the Canadian in the call, Garfield was shot twice with what would have been less than fatal hits. If we had the knowledge we have nowadays, they literally say that he might have been in the hospital for 2 or 3 days. But the doctors at the time didn't know about sterilization. And so they poked his wounds with their fingers and unclean instruments.
Oh, he
and,
died from infection
and Garfield
instead.
ended up dying from the infection and not the
No.
actual wound itself.
Oh.
They also
Okay,
believe...
here's the thing though, isn't post-Civil War is when we started to learn about like germ theory and like
Not soon enough, apparently.
well apparently not.
That
yeah.
might not have been standard practice for a while
Wow.
after the Civil
It probably
War. Still.
wasn't.
But apparently the 2 wounds that he did, like again, they could have been just like cleaned. I think literally they said like 20 years later they had everything they needed to be able to save his life. And so it was like
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because this was like what 1880s.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I'd imagine if it was like after he got thrown out of the commune or whatever, like it probably would have been around the 1880s when he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Rough
Charles was hanged in 1882. So
Okay.
when was the assassination? When was the day? Come on. Oh, also apparently he was into the assassination a couple days earlier when he saw Garfield just at the train with his wife. But he decided, I don't want to ruin her trip to the beach. And so he didn't shoot the president while
my
his
God.
wife was there.
I mean,
So-
you know,
I mean-
he's courteous.
Yes.
I mean, that's messed up, but I guess that was nice.
And they
of
say
him.
chivalry is dead.
It's so fine these days. But
Wow.
Chivalry is
quick-
very much alive, unlike President Garfield. Anyway,
True, and this Charles Guiteau guy. But the pieces of the rope that hung Charles Guiteau were also sold as souvenirs, and his body.
Yeah, that's not uncommon.
No, his body was
Really?
initially buried in a corner of the jail. Sorry, go ahead, Lexi.
Oh, I just wanted to add a quick intermission as to why like hanging is so brutal and awful. And that's also why like I won't go on a giant tangent, but for those of you who are not Americans, that's the reason why like lynchings were also terrible. Not only because it's just almost said the F word. So not only is that just terrible in its own right, but it's also the matter of it was a public spectacle, and then they would be like, okay, yeah, now we're selling off the rope, and
Yeah.
like sometimes they would sell the person's clothes. Like it was awful.
yeah, they
Charles
really made a
was-
whole spectacle of it. Oh, geez.
Charles
Yeah.
was publicly hanged as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
but
Oh, lordy.
he was buried in the corner of the jail yard, but apparently there was a conspiracy theory / like thought that the jailers might dig him back up to then sell pieces of the skeleton and like
Oh, wow.
other pieces of his body, and so he was then dug back up. Sorry. His skeleton was bleached and placed in storage at the National Museum of Health and Medicine in Maryland. So,
Oh.
So he's still there.
as far as I know, yes. I think they lost. No, wait. I think they lost his skeleton, but they kept his brain.
What?
Yes.
How do you lose
This
a
man,
skeleton?
they cannot keep track of anything with him.
I can understand losing the revolver. How do you lose a skeleton?
Sorry. The skeleton is apparently still in storage, so I don't know if it's still in storage or if it's
okay.
been lost.
Oh, Schrodinger's skeleton.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's quote unquote in storage as of 2014. But the brain is on display in the Mutter Museum in Philadelphia. So it's just in a jar. Just
Oh, interesting.
one last thing, because we haven't done it in a long time. Quickest, everybody's favorite part of the podcast. You don't know Glup Shitto. Hit us with the stinger camp. Woo. Bam. All right. We
Super
have
duper quick.
2 people that may or may not be part of the Star Wars canon,
Oh no.
and you all have to figure it out. As Lexi has now seen a second Star Wars film, I felt it was
The
important.
second Star Wars has been in my mind. Oh.
Yes.
I got some competition
So-
now. Okay.
I'm going
Not
to tell
really.
you 2 names, and you have to decide if they are real Star Wars characters or if they were made up by a random Star Wars character name creator. The names are Dag Foss, that is Dag Foss,
Okay.
and the other name is Shock T. Shock T.
I'll let Lexi go first because I feel like I went first last time, from what I remember.
I hate this game. I'm going to go that dag is real because it sounds like dog.
Funny.
All right.
I'm going to go, what was the other one? Shock tea?
Shock tea.
Shock tea. Shock tea's nuts. I will go with that one.
All right. Shock tea's nuts is real. Shock tea, I have just sent
Of
it to
course.
you all. It's a
Of course.
Twi'lek Jedi,
Oh, is that
I
her?
believe. Yeah, that's Shock tea.
I recognize the design from the Clone Wars. That's literally all I know her from.
Yup.
Oh my goodness. I'm pretty sure Shakti is a goddess in a specific religion.
Probably. I would not be surprised.
Not spelled like that, though. Not spelled like Star Wars.
Shock tea.
So once again, it's proven that I don't know shit about Glup Shitto, but you know what I do know shit about? Our patrons over on patreon.com for Gurdon, for Camp. I don't actually know you. I don't actually have your information, but I know in my heart that I'm appreciative of everything that you guys do. We do have the funny fanfic reading that we did a couple episodes ago on the Patreon, so if you want to lose some brain cells, you can listen to that, as well as we'll have some other little bits and bobs on there throughout the year, so keep your eyes peeled over there. We appreciate your support. We thank you guys for your recommendations today. Was today recommended by anybody?
Nope,
Gordon, or
this
did
was
you
just
come
me
up with
after, based off of your podcast last week. So.
All right, so this week it was not a recommendation, but who knows? We might be doing one next time. We do write them down. We do keep a list of them, so keep those recommendations coming. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one.